Roll call, please.
Lonnie Paul.
Here.
Debbie Ray, yes. Chris Hadley.
Yes.
Ralph Green.
Yes, ma'am.
And Morgan Heinz.
Here. That brings us to approval of the consent agenda, what consists of the minutes of the 2/25, 2013 minutes, and the bills presented by the clerk. Any discussion? Make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, Deb.
Debbie Ray, yes. Ralph Green.
Yes, ma'am.
Morgan Heinz.
Yes.
Chris Hadley.
Yes.
Lonnie Paul.
Yes.
Treasurer's report has also been presented. There are no questions. Entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Ralph.
Okay.
Roll call.
Chris Hadley.
Yes.
Ralph Green.
Yes, ma'am.
Debbie Ray, yes. Lonnie Paul.
Yes.
Morgan Heinz.
Yes. The only announcement I have, if no one else has, actually I have two. At our last meeting, we announced that we had 3 wrestlers from this area that went down to the state finals. We had one from Tri-County, he ended up taking 6 down there, Tommy Gilbert. Trent Rosley from Newaygo took 8. And the other kid that went down is the grandson of Jackie Thompson, that is our assessor. And her grandson is Stephen Lloyd, took first place down there.
Here, here.
Yeah, pretty awesome for the kids. The other announcement I have is just that the DNR has issued a permit for the ongoing swamp reduction program, so we have that, that's all in place. It is set to go for this year, so. That's all I have for announcements, if nobody else has nothing. If there are no other announcements, when it comes to the agenda, I have one item I would like to add to the agenda, and it's a block of time, which is 40 hours for Zyotech or Armando, the guy that does all of our computer technology stuff, and it would be a cost of $2,000. We were getting low on the block, but I also want Armando to do some work on the website, which is going to take some time. So we're probably going to go with that, doing that, and we need to have that in place if we're going to do that. So I just want to add that to the agenda. This would be the third item on the agenda. No problems. With that on, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any petitions? None. This time we have public comments. Are there any public comments on agenda items at this time? If anybody has any, please feel free to ask. Have anything for us? Nothing? At this point in time, we're going to open up a public hearing. What we're doing is, at the previous meeting, we brought in Harry Wieringa from Fleece and Vanderbrink, and we discussed improvements at the campground and what we needed to do, and if we were going to move forward with going for a grant to the DNR Trust Fund. Well, by doing that, we have to have a series or at least one public hearing. So tonight is a public hearing, but to have an official public hearing for this, you had to have it in a paper for 7 days. We didn't have enough time to post it for the 7 days and hold it tonight, so we're going to hold another one at the March 25th meeting also. So we will have 2 of them on this, and that's what they're for. It's just to go ahead and proceed with the grant application for the DNR Trust Fund. So I have Harry here. If anybody here has any questions or concerns about it, we can go over it again. I think most of you were here the first time we went, so if anybody has questions or concerns, now's the time to speak up or ask about it.
Is there a dock for the fire department to put the boat in?
There is not.
There should be.
There should be, but no, not permanent. Why, you want a dock? Permanent dock for the fire
I'm kicking
department?
around that idea.
That is very interesting, Because at some point, we're gonna sit down and talk to you about the red fire truck, so maybe we can work a small deal here with the campground and the fire truck. I'm glad you brought that up.
I thought we worked out a deal with the old fire station, so I mean, and we still haven't received our end
We're
yet.
not done dealing.
We're not done dealing, that's right.
That was the old board.
Are there any questions on what we're doing with the campground? Does anybody here have none? Otherwise, I'm not gonna hold Harry up, but Harry, go
I'll
ahead.
just go through real quick, because I have a couple of thoughts
Okay.
since we met Friday morning.
Go ahead.
Fill you in,
Yep.
and that way we can get some input reaction.
Okay.
Docks, floating docks of some kind was one of the questions.
Yep.
How that works. For general information, we talked about how we're gonna winterize things, events that were gonna happen, and how this grant application would fit with the trust fund criteria. You can see the red line around there, some of these blue areas. These are areas that are currently used. They are used for winter ice fishing activity, and then in the summer boat storage here and that sort of thing. Most of the emphasis of this improvement is down on the east end or the pond end, and it involves a variety of events. One is there's a restroom building, you can't quite see it here, but it's right about there. That's going to be demoed. It's not ADA accessible, it's substandard. There's also a couple of pit toilets attached to the garage kind of storage building over here. That's going to be demoed, replaced with a shelter. I looked at the building when I was out there Friday to see if there was a way we could use columns on the corners or something. It doesn't work. It needs to just come down and be replaced. But one thing I wanted to run by the board and get comment from the audience as well. The entrance drive currently is right here. Part of our focus is to make this a public area. We're actually going to eliminate the 3 first campsites and open that up for more public gathering. We're going to add that shelter that I mentioned. In a lot of ways with the building, and one of the members of the meeting the other day had plans prepared that the board has been working on, and it has a good answer for what the new check-in, restroom, shower, gathering place, and even maybe the postal center would be in a new restroom administrative building there. The way that building sits and the way the shape of the footprint is, in a lot of ways, the ideal entrance here would be to consolidate this entrance where the lane comes out and actually splits around a utility pole out on the edge of the street, and move it over so that everything comes and goes on kind of that, I'll call it the south side of the utility pole. And we enter, there's an existing building here, there's that existing shelter, and maybe come in this way and bring it past so that the post office / administrative office check-in and all of that is on this side. You come in, and the original plan had the traffic going one way. We're going to leave the traffic pretty much in the same flow it is now, that this would be inbound, this would be outbound, the dump station and everything is right here. Just want to float that. It makes a lot of sense in terms of conversion of this space and making this all public. It expands a little bit of that public parking here. It consolidates the entrance at a key point. And the tough part is the opposing intersection is down here. None of our access actually matches that intersection, so I don't view that as a problem. But is that something to consider?
You know, it makes the egress, Bob's probably gonna answer that better than any of us. The egress and going to that campground, the smoothest we can make it is gonna be the most efficient. So
Now that road that's going along there that I see at the bottom, is that Cozy Point's Drive?
Right here, yes.
Have you talked to Cozy Point about that yet?
No, we're just floating that idea right now.
I have to ask.
Because it'll clean up their intersection, actually.
Because they have kind of an oblique entrance.
Yeah.
Now, and what they would do is pull into this and then